this video is to review calculating plumbing fixture counts. So this is one of the projects that you'll have to complete. So let's just walk through this PowerPoint so that we can do it together. I'm going to skip over these first couple slides. This is information that you can read. So basic fixture count calculations, we want to, step 1, determine what the occupant load is for the occupancy group, and then 2, determine the number of male and female users in the building. To do that, we're going to divide the total occupant load in half. The IPC, which is the International Plumbing Code, does not address how to handle odd number occupant loads. For this situation, you can use a fraction number for each sex or round the occupant load for each sex up to the next whole number. So let's practice a little bit. In our first example, we have a Group M store with 2,000 total occupants. So determine the occupant load for this occupancy group is step 1. So I'm just going to click out so we can write in here. Our occupancy is Group M. So we're going to write Group M. And then what is Group M? So we'd have to go and we'd have to find that. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. The total number of occupants is 2,000. So to determine the number of male and females using the building, we're just going to divide this in half. So 1,000 and 1,000. The next step is to refer to table 403.1. So let me click on this so we can see it together. So table 403.1 shows you the minimum number of required plumbing fixtures per the occupancy classification. So we want to scroll down to M, which is right here, retail stores, service stations, shops, sales rooms, it's mercantile. It says that you're kind of going to scroll up and down. Water closets for males and females, so for males, is going to be 1 per 500, and for females it's also 1 per 500. So if you flip to the next slide, you'll see I already started filling some of this out. 1 per 500 for the water closets. The lavatories, we're going to look back into our chart again, and the lavatories would be next door, it would be 1 per 750, and then we have, I don't know what category this is, drinking fountains is 1 per, it looked like 1,000, and then 1 service sink. So we're going to record all that information into our chart, and you'll see actually your chart looks a little bit different for your assignment, but it's essentially the same information. It's just broken up like this. Okay, so you'll just record that same information. Okay, and then you're going to do the calculations. So the water closets, if the ratio is 1 per 500, you'll take 2,000, and then you'll just divide that out. So we get 4 water closets, and then we have to divide that by 50%. So half go to females and half go to males. So we have 2 water closets for males and 2 for females. Remember, the water closet is a toilet. For lavatories, we have a ratio of 1 per 750. So we are going to divide that out, and we get 2.66 lavatories or sinks. So we'll divide 2.66 in half, and we're going to want to round up. We'll put 2 sinks for males and 2 sinks for females. Okay, so then we can try another one just so you can get the hang of it. We have a Group A1 theater with 1,155 total occupants. We go back to our table and we can find this information. A1, theaters, males 1 per 125 people, water closets, females 1 per 65, lavatories 1 per 200, and drinking fountains 1 per 500, and then 1 service sink. So we're going to record that information down on our chart, or again, you'll record it into your homework assignment when you do it for your building. Okay, now I didn't actually look at urinals, I just looked at toilets and sinks, so if you want to look at urinals, that's great. You can get extra practice by doing that. Okay, we record that information here into our chart, and now we're going to do the calculations. So again, the ratio for water closets was 1 per 125 for males and 1 per 65 females. So you just calculate that out. You get 5 total toilets for males and then 9 total toilets for females, and then do the same for the sinks and the drinking fountains. And then there is a more advanced project. So this has 6 steps, and this relates back to, again, your assignment here as well. You can see it's laid out in a similar fashion. So you can follow along with my PowerPoint. We have a library that's 10,000 square feet, and it's made up of 4,000 square feet of reading area and 6,000 square feet of stacks. So that's where the books go. And we want to determine the use and classification. So to determine the classification, if we click on our link here, and let me just say open hyperlink, we're going to go to section 302. So if you scroll down to 302 classification, you can see all the classification types here. We have a library, so we have to see which one fits library. So you're going to have to read through all these. As an assembly group, no, none of these. Assembly group A2, none of those. A3. A3 does have libraries listed, so it looks like assembly group A3 could be what we're wanting to use in this example. I would look through the other ones just to make sure that there aren't any other groups that have libraries listed. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can write assembly group A3 here. So now determine the occupant load factor. So we're going to have to go to our next link. And we have to use section 10004 for the occupant load factor. Oh, and we can just actually scroll down right here. All right. So if we come down, we'll see the occupant load factor listed in a chart. So we're going to look for, we can see assembly spaces here. We're going to look to see if there's anything specifically for a library. So I do see a library. It's got reading rooms separated as 50 net for a reading room. And we have 100 gross for a stack area. So now you have to figure out what is the difference between net value and gross value. So if we go to the next slide, I actually answer that question. So it says the gross square footage of a building includes elevator shafts, vertical penetrations, equipment areas, ductwork shafts, and stairwells, as well as usable square footage. So we noted here that we have 4,000 square feet for reading, and we have 6,000 square feet for the stacks. So we have to determine the occupant load. So you can divide the 50 net into the 4,000 square feet for the reading and the 100 gross into the 6,000 for the stacks. Then you're going to determine the number of male and female users in the building. Again, you'll just take the total occupant load, divide it by 2, list how many male and how many females there are, and then reference the plumbing charts to figure out how many toilets and sinks, etc. that you need. And you'll want to fill out the chart on this slide to do that. Okay, so then the last step, and this is part of your assignment here, is that you are going to calculate the plumbing fixture counts for the law office building that you worked on in AET 164, your Revit class. So if you never took the Revit class, the law office building is attached to the assignment. So I've attached the law office building as a DWG, and I've also attached it as a Revit file. So whichever one you're comfortable with, you'll need to use these files to get the gross square footage of the buildings. Make sure that you take it for level 1 and level 2. You won't present your findings as a class. What you'll do is you'll complete your documentation here and you'll submit it individually. Again, I don't mind if you're going to do this individually, but then you can talk to each other about the answers that you found. Make sure that you don't copy each other's work. You can again, share with each other, but don't copy each other's work. And I just want to go back to these calculations that we did for the library, because I don't want to leave you totally lost. We looked how to determine the occupancy use. We looked at the occupant load factor. The gross square footage we just pulled off of our information. In your assignment, again, you're going to have to measure the spaces. And for the plumbing facilities, we had looked at how to determine that in a previous step. So if I'm back here and I'm looking at this library, and I'm down here on step 5, it asks what the total occupant load is. So the total occupant load that I got after dividing out all my information was 140 occupants in total. So you can do this math. We're going to say that there's 70 males and 70 females. Okay, and then we'll go to our chart, which is the plumbing facilities. We're going to open that hyperlink. Remember that we're working with an A3 space for our library, just so you can see it. Where did my hyperlink go? So we're looking for A3. It looks like which one of these auditoriums without permanent seating. Oh, right here, libraries. Sorry. We're going to do 1 per 125 for the males. And we're going to do 1 per 65 for the females. So those are for water closets. So let's go ahead and do that. So it looks like I'm going to have 1 for males and then 1 for females, and then I'll do the same thing with the sinks here. It's going to be 1 per 200 for both. So if my total occupant load was 140, well, you can figure out again that math isn't going to quite work, but we're going to do 1 and 1. And then the number of drinking fountains will be 1 per 500, so we'd still need 1 and then 1 service sink. Okay, so hopefully that helped you just working through those. Again, you can see that I put all the math in here if you need that to reference it back as an example. But your final project would be to use the law office building, which is attached to the assignment, and to complete this paper right here. So again, before you begin the project, review this video and the PowerPoint, use the links that I've given you, and then show all of your work on this worksheet. Show all your calculations. Make sure they're clear. I don't want handwritten work. It's too hard to read the scanned in work, so just go ahead, and if you need to type underneath that, you can do that, and you can type all your calculations out.